Jermaine's going, hey Dino, the Electroneum team has been quiet for quite a while. I wonder what they are working on. I think it would be foolish to say that this pandemic hasn't affected every company on the freaking planet. You're either super busy making toilet paper and printing out toilet paper, or extras, setting up PCs for remote access, or you're out of business, basically. Craziness. So I'm sure that it's affected Electroneum. You've got to lose a percentage of productivity as you go forward. Having said that, yeah, they got some stuff they're working on. Hang in there, it'll happen.
Enjoy the show. You just never know which way you'll go. Get ready for Digitspin crypto.
So you want to know me saying, hey Dino, if Bitcoin becomes the world currency, I can see Electroneum affiliates, non-for-profits handing out bread and paper wallet with 100 Electroneum worldwide, but not use it. How the price would be affected? All right. Bitcoin's not going to become a currency this year. Maybe not even next year. Maybe by the next halving, we'll start seeing it being used more and more as a currency. But it's far from a currency. Right now, it's digital gold. It's a store. It's storing. And for big ticket items, yeah, it's spent for big ticket items. But it's not a daily currency, and I'm not sure it ever will be. I know they're trying to get it set up with Lightning and other methodologies to be able to spend and use Bitcoin, but I'm not sure that's where it needs to be. Especially, it's going to have to be an off-chain solution, because running it on blockchain, on the Bitcoin blockchain, is going to be too costly. A transaction has got to go up in price. And if it's going to cost you $10 for a transaction or $5 for a transaction, it's only going to be used for moving wealth around, to store wealth. It's going to be your savings account. Okay? Some of the other coins will end up being your checking account, your debit card type of solution. And those are things like Electroneum, possibly Ethereum, or coins on the Ethereum blockchain. That's where you're going to have your expenditures. Bitcoin is not going to be currency for a while, as you mean to both know it. And non-profits handing out ETN. The current non-profits that are attached to Electroneum are in more need to help their projects than they are capable of doing it. I think it would be wonderful. Those NGOs. Let me start over. Those NGOs that are securing Electroneum, I think it would be fantastic for them to be able to give Electroneum to those people in need in their scope of work or scope of project that they're trying to attach. And I think that they can give a real world value to somebody that could use it, especially with Electroneum being able to top up their phones. And once ETN everywhere starts to get going and more retailers are enticed, appropriated, added, selected, and brought into the fold through Excerpt Electroneum, then that gift that's given to those who could use it from an NGO, I think will have more significant value and would be looked for and appreciated a whole lot more. What you bring up there, I think, is a really plausible event for Electroneum. Not this year, but at some point, I could see that happening, and I can see how Electroneum could be coveted and wanted, and be able to be used going into the future. You know, I look at projects when I buy something, when something's new, fresh and new, when it comes off, and I decide to pick up some. I go by the 8-year rule, and I take a look at it. You know, it's gonna, almost every coin took 6 to 8 years before it really started to be integrated and used. Now, Bitcoin took longer. It was the first, the trailblazer. It had to actually carve out every road that it needed to go, where all the other coins can use those roads, so that they have the ability to take it and go further, faster. Having said that, it just takes time for these things to actually happen, for it to be integrated, appreciated, loved, and understood by those around you. And you know, just like email and the internet and everything else, you know, it took 10, 20 years before the public understood or grew up with it in school and knew about it, and that it technically functioned easily enough that the average Joe could care less about the technical nonsense, but was able to use it. All right. When cars first came out, you had to be a mechanic. If you weren't a mechanic, you hired a mechanic, and he sat in the back seat when you drove somewhere. And the reason is, if the damn thing needed to be serviced and fixed when you were on the road, you needed the mechanic. Imagine going to we're going to take a trip. We got to go upstate. And you got to put the mechanic, you got to hire the mechanic, or people that had the cars at the time had enough wealth to have them on staff. And the mechanic would come with you on the trip. All right. Now, you get in a car, I don't even have a key anymore. I push the button, the thing starts up. I ask it to get going. It drives itself wherever it wants to go. I don't need to know all the nonsense. Luckily, I do. I used to rebuild cars when I was young. I have the basics down. If you give me a 68 to 75, I can take care of it. Luckily, with my computer background, I can probably take care of most current vehicles too. But the fact of the matter is, you don't care. I don't care where the oil goes. I opened up my hood, and I wanted to check my transmission oil. I'm like, where the frick is the dipstick? And I sit there and look on my phone. It's a sealed transmission. I'm like, what the heck? What do you mean it's sealed? What kind of shit is that? That took me to, you don't need to know. So,